Hello students, hope you all are fine. Today we are going to start our next chapter, that is The Chocolate Room. The Chocolate Room is written by Roald Dahl. The Chocolate Room is written by Roald Dahl. So who is Roald Dahl? Roald Dahl is a famous British writer. So from the name of The Chocolate Room we can understand that this particular chapter deals with the formation of chocolates in the factory. Okay, so the Chocolate Room, this chapter is taken from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, one of the most famous book written for children, by Roald Dahl. Mr. Willy Wonka invites 5 children for a visit to his factory, chocolate factory. Among them is a little poor boy. His name is Charlie Bucket, who came along with his grandfather. The children see fascinating sights at the factory and have strange experiences. In this extract, Mr. Wonka shows them the chocolate room. So let's start. An important room this, cried Mr. Wonka, taking a bunch of keys from his pocket and slipping one into the keyhole of the door. So Mr. Wonka says that this is an important room and took out a bunch of keys from his pocket and unlocked the door with a key. This is the nerve center of the whole factory, the heart of the whole business, and so beautiful. So, the particular point where Mr. Wonka opened the door and the children were supposed to enter, that particular point was the nerve center. It was the main portion of the factory. This is the heart, which is referred as the heart of the whole business, and it was very beautiful. I insist upon my rooms being beautiful. So Mr. Wonka says that he always wanted his rooms to be beautiful. He never liked dirty things. I can't abide ugliness in the factory. So he can't tolerate ugliness or dirty things in the factory. If we go then, in we go then. So he asked the children, let's go. But do be careful, my children. Don't lose your head. Don't get overexcited. Keep very calm. So here Mr. Wonka says that let's go, children. So he's inviting the children to go into the factory, but before that he is just alarming the students to be careful. Why? Because Mr. Wonka knows that inside the chocolate factory the children will get excited. The children will get excited by seeing the chocolate factory. So he's asking the children or advising the children to be calm, to control themselves. So Mr. Wonka opened the door. 5 children and 9 grown-ups pushed their ways in. So who came along with Mr. Wonka? 5 children and 9 grown-ups. And oh, what an amazing sight it was that now met their eyes. As soon as the door opened, a very beautiful and very extraordinary beautiful view they saw. They were looking down upon a lovely valley. So when they opened, they looked upon a lovely valley. When the door opened, they looked upon a lovely valley. So how was that valley? There were green meadows. Meadows means green grasses. On either side of the valley, on both sides of the valley. And along the bottom of it, there flowed a great brown river. So below the valley, there was a great brown river. That means below the valley flows the chocolate river. Here brown river means chocolate river. What is more, there was the tremendous waterfall halfway along the river. A steep cliff over which the water curled and rolled into a solid sheet, and then went crashing down into a boiling, churning whirlpool of froth and spray. What does this mean? See, next what they see is that there was a tremendous waterfall in the middle of the river. A steep cliff. A steep cliff means big rocks. So the waterfalls were happening from the big rocks. See, this is the big rocks. From here the waterfall is taking place. A steep cliff over which the water curled. So when the water is falling, they are curling. Curling means this is spiral. So this spiral shape is called curling. Looks particularly this spiral shape is called curling. So when the water is falling, they are curling and rolled into a solid sheet. They are curling so slowly when they are falling. They are curling and then they rolled into a solid sheet. So this particular shape, when water is falling, they are curling, they are falling, and then they are taking a sheet-like shape. Okay, they are curling a sheet-like shape. This particular shape is called solid sheet. So rolled into a solid sheet and then went crashing down into a boiling, churning whirlpool. What is whirlpool? Whirlpool is nothing but the chocolates when they are formed, they are forming in this. See, this is a chocolate pond. The middle is like this. You will notice this particular shape is called whirlpool. Okay, so this particular waterfall is going and hitting strongly the whirlpool, which is boiling and churning. Churning and boiling means, suppose if you are stirring water, then it will take the shape like this. If I am stirring something like this, okay, suppose in a glass you are stirring a salt and water solution, then what will happen? The water will become round, it will look like round shape. Okay, so that particular thing is called churning. Then went crashing down into a boiling, churning whirlpool of froth and spray. Froth and spray is nothing but the formation of small bubbles into the chocolate river. Below the waterfall, a whole mass of enormous glass pipes were dangling down into the river from somewhere high up in the ceiling. So these are the water pipes. These are the glass pipes. Look at this particular pipe. See, these are the glass pipes. So they are hanging up in a very great height. They are hanging very loosely. They are hanging very loosely at a great height. Okay, high up in the ceiling. Ceiling means the top portion where anything is being hanged. Like in our room, in our houses or schools, you will see the fans are hanged on the ceiling. That is the top portion of the house where anything is hanged. That is called ceiling. They really were enormous. Those pipes. So they are saying that these pipes were very big. There must have been a dozen of them at least, and they were sucking up the brownish muddy water from the river and carrying it away to goodness knows where. So they are saying that the pipes, those were hanging, there were almost 12 dozen. There were almost a dozen of them. Means minimum 12 pipes were hanging. Okay, these pipes were almost 12 pipes were hanging into the sky or hanging up in the ceiling. And what they were doing? They were sucking up the chocolates from the river. They were sucking up the mud. See here, they are saying they are sucking up the brownish muddy water. This brownish muddish water is referred as the chocolate river. Okay, from the river and carrying it away to goodness knows where, because they cannot see where these pipes are ending. So they don't know that where this brownish muddy water, that is the chocolates, are going. And because they were made of glass, you could see the liquid flowing and bulbing along inside them. So when these particular pipes, these long pipes, okay, long and big pipes, when they are sucking the chocolates, what's happening? The children could see the chocolates going through the pipe. Okay, bulbing along them. Bulbing along them means when they're going through the pipe, they're making a bulb shape. Bulb shape means, see, suppose if like this shapes they're forming and going through the pipe. Okay, this is called a bulbing shape. Bulbing along inside them and above the noise of the waterfall. When these pipes are sucking the chocolate from the chocolate river, okay, they are making such a loud noise that they could not even hear the noise of the waterfall when the pipes are sucking the chocolate. See, again see, you could hear the never-ending sucking sound of the pipes as they did their work. Understood? So they cannot hear the waterfall sound. They cannot hear the sound of the waterfall when the sucking was going on, because the sucking sound was louder than the sound of the waterfall. Graceful trees and bushes were growing along the river banks. Weeping willow and alders and tall clumps of rhododendrons with their pink and red and mauve blossoms. In the meadows there were thousands of buttercups. Here Charlie wants to say that there were many beautiful plants and trees and flowers also near the river banks in the chocolate factory. Okay, here mauve is a pleasant smell that comes from a particular flower. Okay,